Welcome, beautiful souls, to Enchanted Moments podcast. We are going to talk about summer solstice. The solstice this year is on June 21st. Look at the exact time, 4:24 Eastern time. So if you want to know exactly when astrological solstice hits, 4:24 Eastern Standard Time on the 21st. Summer solstice is one of two solstices. Summer is in June, and then we have winter solstice, Yule, in December, usually around the 21st, give or take a couple days, you never know. But it's when the days and nights are either really long for winter solstice or really the night is really long. In a summer solstice, it's the longest day of the year,
Yes.
shortest night. So it's just reverse. There are a lot of celebrations around the summer solstice. We also have a lot of celebrations around the winter solstice, but this one particularly is about honoring the rise of the sun. And you'll see Stonehenge on the news all the time because thousands of people gather to watch that sun hit that stone in the morning, and that is a really big deal. It's a sun celebration. It's also a fire festival, so there's a lot of bonfires that last through the night. It's just a fire festival, right? Sometimes you also see sunset celebrations, and I guess because it's the longest day and sunset's so late, we celebrate the sunrise and then celebrate the sunset. And there's a lot of different things you can do. People burn herbs, and then you can save some of the ash for using on winter solstice, just to have the connection. A lot of times we burn all the pine and stuff from winter solstice for later use in summer solstice. So it depends on your background, if it's Celtic or whatever, but there was always a connection between the two. No sneezing. They threw sacred herbs in their fires: St. John's wort, lavender, vervain, yarrow, mugwort. Mugwort, of course, instills lots of dreams. You can use those herbs for smudging. You can use them to make water. We do a lot of full moon water making. On the solstice, you can do sun water, and that can be used in teas and for healing or magical purposes. You have the ability and option to make an altar for the summer solstice. Milk, honey, teas, bread, flowers, a lot of flowers for summer solstice. But it allows you to honor that sun celebration in your home and bring that in. Intentions, you can write down your goals and affirmations just like you would for a full moon. Summer solstice has a lot of fast energy associated with it, believe it or not, because of the sun. So with making full moon or new moon affirmations, you have the 2 weeks till the full moon. So there's a lot of time involved for your things to come to fruition. With summer solstice, the understanding is that they will come faster. We'll see. I don't know. I've never done affirmations on summer solstice, but I'm going to this year. See how fast they work out. It's also a really good time for gatherings and feasting, and just like with the equinoxes and any of the other Sabbats, it's all about community, getting together, having fun. So that's a good time to do it. It's a good thing for doing plant rituals, any kind of magic with plants and flowers. There's books on just flower magic and herbal things, so that's a good time to do it. And if you want to make waters, herbs and flowers in water and leave it out in the sun, it's really good especially for cleansing baths. Just warm it up a little before you use it. And I remember doing that with your mom we put flowers in jars of water outside. It was lovely until we poured it over each other and it was like ice cubes. So yeah, there you go. There's a lot of traditions associated with midsummer, just like there are a lot with Yule. And we have a very long list of different countries. It's pretty much European, pretty much. There's Eastern European and Western European, and there is celebrations in South America. They're just a little different. And in China, there are summer solstice celebrations. It's the yin yang, so it's the feminine for summer because of fertility and all that. And in the winter solstice, they celebrate the male energy. But most of the things that we find in history, we know of anyway, are the European. So, but South America does have solstice celebrations. They have, all their pyramids are aligned, I guess, east-west. Because when the sun comes up, one side is bright and the other side's totally dark. So that's their measurement, I guess, of the solstices. It's really interesting. I'm sure there's more celebrations that they do, but that's the only one I was able to really find. The most famous is Stonehenge because, you know, it's England and it's a big monument, but there are stone circles all over the place. And I'm sure if you're near one, there's over 3,000 in, I think, England, France, and Germany, Belgium, 3,000 stone circles. So you should be able to find one if you live there. So, but you will notice that the sun is aligned to come up over the certain stone every solstice, and winter solstice it'll set over that. The northern countries like Sweden, Finland, Norway, I'm sure the Netherlands are in there as well. They do big bonfires, and you know, it's been cold a long time there. So in some cases, I think in Norway, there's still snow on the ground when they do their celebrations. So, but they tend to do theirs on June 24th. It's their midsummer celebration, and they aren't as concerned with the solstice as they are just celebrating being warm. Big bonfires, all night long bonfires. They also celebrate a lot of marriages, or they reenact marriages. So you can get married and you never have to worry about your anniversary because it's always going to be when everybody else's anniversary is. Or you just reenact getting married on that day. And it's about fertility and blessings coming in with the new warmth and sun, and so it's great, right? There are lots of indigenous celebrations, particularly in the Americas, Canada and the United States. They tend to be ancestral focused and historical. So they do food, some celebrations, history, storytelling. So it's more not so focused on a monument, etc., but they do a lot of history and cultural celebrations, so that's always cool. Greece is I have to say, it's the weirdest one that I found. And give it to the Greeks, everything is equal on the solstice. So there is no separation of rich and poor, powerful and not powerful. Everybody is equal that day. You know, it's sort of their, I guess, maybe the seedlings of their original political leanings, right? All about democracy. So they do that, and it's a 2,500 year tradition. So they can go back that far. But I think that's really cool.
No,
you know, it's definitely. We talked about Finland and all those colorful places. Alaska, the poor people, they have 24 hours of sunlight on the solstice, so they just get to celebrate whatever they want. I mean, it's like they don't have to worry about sunrise or sunset. It's just always sunny right now, so that's, I guess, good. It's a brief summer, so you know, you enjoy it while you can, right? Iceland, they have what they call the secret solstice celebration. They look at it as the midnight sun, which I think is really cool. And they do all kinds of things around the ocean, which makes perfect sense because they're an island. So they do whale watching. It's just interesting. The Romans used to call it Vestalia, and they would visit all the Vestal temples and make offerings to the goddess and Vestal virgins. So they also were permitted to enter the temple, and they had a cake, used consecrated waters from their sacred springs, but it is all about new beginnings. So that's cool. In Scotland, they call it Simmer Dim, which is really an interesting way to look at it. When we were in Scotland, it did not get dark until midnight, and then the sun came up at 4 a.m. So it was crazy. It was like a constant sunset for a long period of time. It wasn't like the sun was bright, but it wasn't like it was dark. It was a weird time, but it never went down. I mean, it was just like always daylight. Mm-hmm. So it was just kind of weird. But they do lots of things just like they do in England, and they have some amazing stone circles. I'm sure that they're really cool. Lithuania does a cool thing with a 3-pronged maypole sort of thing that they use in May, but they also use at the summer solstice and do a celebration. They also go out, the dewdrops are real important. So you go out and try to find ferns with the early morning dew, which they consider to be sacred, and then they make crowns out of fern fronds. So I thought that was pretty cool. A lot of cultures actually go out and walk in the dewy grass in the mornings, sort of interspersed amongst a lot of the different traditions. So it's all about the newness and the fertility of the earth, and just enjoying all that at the same time. China does the yin and yang, as we talked about. They also have some food things, dumplings and noodles. We won't get into the other parts of their food choices, which not necessarily parts of China. They still have dogs. I don't think my dog would be happy about that. So we're gonna go with noodles and dumplings. So if you want to celebrate the solstice from an Asian bent, then enjoy your noodles and dumplings. But they also eat lychees. Hi! We don't want any animal eating. No. Croatia, it's really kind of funny. They call it Astrofest. And they do, they use, it's a tool for them to increase tourism. So they try to stay awake all night and greet the dawn the next morning. So I thought that was kind of cool. They do some ceremonies, and they do things that involve the sun, moon, and stars, which I thought was fun. And they also greet the fairies, elves, and supernatural beings. Got to include those guys, because the elementals, I'm sure, are having a good time on the solstice. Absolutely. So celebrate the solstice. It's always a good time for a party. We encourage that. Krim likes her parties. And we will definitely see you again next time. Thank you for joining us.